Hello, boys and girls, marks, wrestling fans, nerds, geeks, and all types of walks of life on this here planet. You're listening to a hungover version. Yes, it is like almost 6 o'clock, and I am very hungover still. I'm drinking as much water as I possibly can, but a hungover version of Peter Talks Smackdown. Sorry, it's on a Sunday again. I want to get these up on Saturday. Apologize, it's a Sunday again, but there's been a lot of things happening. More notably, the NCAA basketball tournament. I've been keeping up with my Tar Heels. We made it to the Sweet 16. I was trying to tell my boss we were going to make it to the Sweet 16. He's like, hell no, they're not going to make it to the Sweet 16. So bam, we are up in the Sweet 16. And I guess what are we? We're 9-1 as a conference, the ACC. Virginia, who was a number 2 seed, lost today. So we still look strong. I'm proud of everybody from the ACC, even fucking Duke, even though they suck. But yeah. But excuses. Since you're listening, if you can, after this or sometime during the week, go back and listen to the other post of this week. Wednesday, we had, last week's SmackDown. Peter Talks Smackdown was posted last Sunday. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling was posted on Wednesday. There was a great part in there where it was an argument between me and him to who was the best tag team. He's such a mark for the marksmen. That is Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. And I'm not as much of a mark for the Usos, but I really think they're a better tag team. And we get into a nice heated argument worth checking out. Then also we have Fast in the World podcast. That's the NXT review. That's Jake and his Uncle Fritz. And they review the last NXT from Wednesday. And then there's Peter Talks Wrestling with, and an old pal came back to talk some wrestling. His name is Nathan. He goes by the Twitter handle of Headliner5. And if you haven't yet, go and check out 2 weeks ago. Check out the pilot for Dang. I always say it twice. Dang. We Love Divas, which features Alexa Feldman. She was on a Peter Talks Wrestling with me maybe 3 weeks ago, and she will be joining us for the WrestleMania Go Home and prediction show. And speaking of which, I did some predictions on the Peter Talks Wrestling web. So if you want to early jump on how I feel WrestleMania is going to turn out, go back and listen to Peter Talks Peter Talks Jesus Christ, there's so many Peter Talks. Peter Talks Wrestling with. Yes. So, and yes, the website is pjtwcentral.com. Also the Twitter handle, pjtwcentral. And then my own personal account is Ellen Japanese, which is LINJAPANESE, which is also the SoundCloud hub. So if you're listening, and if you listen to other things that I've mentioned, all the music is made by me. All those beats are mine. So if you're on the SoundCloud and you're interested in what beats are what, just go to the beats playlist on the Ellen Japanese SoundCloud, and you'll hear them in their entirety. So yeah, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start talking SmackDown. And this week, it was pretty cool that Intercontinental Gauntlet match, it was pretty badass. I mean, that made the show, definitely. But we'll get into it. But that was the bulk of the show, so I'm going to try to get through as much as I possibly can. But SmackDown is in Kansas City this evening. It opens with the basically the package that was shown on Monday Night Raw of Brock Lesnar. It's okay they play this. They could play this almost. You could just put this thing on loop the entire show, and I would be totally fine with that because it's what it is. It's really fucking entertaining. And then after that, you get Roman Reigns coming out in the crowd from the I wonder, is he ever going to change that? I mean, that can't be his interest walking through the crowd his entire career. At some point it's going to change. I'm not sure when, but they need to do it. I mean, I still think I still think it's pretty risky, and it's getting kind of old, you know. But as he's walking down, I even posted it on the Solid Monster page. This is moment where he's walking and this old, like, she's like a mom, like, touches him and just gives him the look. I was like, man, Kansas City, get your moms. She's out there milfing it up, dude. Like, that shit was funny. If he go watch that shit again and just see the reaction when that woman gets to touch him, she is fucking. Well, anyway, he comes out, and basically before he gets to speak, Mark Henry comes out. And Mark Henry addresses what happens last week. He even goes, well, if you didn't see it last week, here it is again. And they basically show everything that happens between him basically scolding him to getting Superman punch to super spirit through the barricade. So after that, he talks to Reigns and he's like, you know, I did all that stuff to test your mantle, and, you know, I got what I deserved. And he puts him over some more by saying that in the main event against Brock Lesnar, he's going to put his money on Roman Reigns to win. And he puts him over some more. He's like, you can, you will. And they shake hands. Then all of a sudden, Rollins with Kane and J&J Security come out. He addresses the match between Reigns and Brock, but he also mentions that anything can happen. And he kind of waves the Money in the Bank briefcase in front of him as this sign that either who wins or loses or whatever, he still has the briefcase and he could possibly cash in. There hasn't been a WrestleMania cash in yet. I think it's not going to happen either way, but it's still part of it. But this has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. I think it's pretty funny that they got this history together as the Shield, and Rollins is the person that basically backstabbed everyone, and Reigns isn't really focused on him, and Rollins isn't really focused on Reigns, even though he's got these matches with him, but he's nothing but an enhancement for the Randy Orton Rollins story, which I think is weird. It just makes no sense to me. I guess it keeps Reigns busy, but it still makes no sense. You can get anybody for that. Get Jack Swagger. Hell, it can be Mark Henry. But why Roman Reigns is in between that storyline is beyond me. So Rollins goes into talking about Orton and how he's going to face him at WrestleMania, and the fact that Orton isn't in Kansas City tonight, and he won't be in the building that evening at all. And he goes, well, since he's not here or going to be here, I want a WrestleMania tune-up. And Kane sets the match between Kane, Rollins, and Mark Henry and Roman Reigns. Yeah, that ends the first segment. I want to mention the Money in the Bank briefcase, and this has been a tradition for a while now, that it just, every time it comes out, it looks more and more beat up. I wish I would see it. I wish they did more with the fact that it was getting beat up. It just showing up, just beat up more and more, doesn't really do anything without showing how it's getting beat up. I mean, it's not being used as a weapon or anything. I can't recall the last time it even was used as a weapon, but it keeps coming out getting more beat up. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of odd. After that, we get a, what you would call an announcement that a wrestler by the name of Tatsumi Fujinami is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now, I don't know much about this guy at all, but apparently he holds a presence in pro wrestling and in Japanese wrestling. He was called the Dragon, and he came up with the Dragon Sleeper and the Dragon suplex. I mean, there you have it. I guess I'll do some more research on this guy. I'm not going to front and sit here and feel like I know everything about this guy. I don't. But congratulations to him for making into the WWE Hall of Fame. And that takes us into the match between Paige and Brie Bella with AJ and Nikki on commentary. Not much to this match at all, other than the fact that Brie controls basically the entire match, and Paige wins with a reverse schoolgirl pin. For the most part, the attention was at the desk, where Nikki and AJ were going back and forth. Can we just hurry up and get this shit over with and move on to other divas in the title hunt? Natalya, Naomi. Let's get some NXT broads up, like Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley. Let's just overhaul. Apparently from the Total Divas show, the Bellas are not going to be there. They got to renew their contracts, or somebody's going to have a baby. Regardless, hurry up and have any of that shit just take place. Even though they look great with the belts, let's just do a overhaul of the Divas division, please. After WrestleMania, I just can't wait. After that, we have a Raw rebound with Orton versus Rollins and the Sting return. All right. Then they show J&J Security backstage ordering some security around, arena security around, to make sure that Randy Orton is not to enter the building. And it's Mercury. It's Noble doing most of the talking. Mercury doesn't even talk. That's his stick. It's pretty cool. But I guess the only thing is that it happens throughout the night, and I'm not gonna bring up any more of them ordering some developmental guys around. Basically, I wonder who those guys are. That's my biggest thing. The first one, I think, was a guy and a girl, and I'm just curious to who those developmental people are. And then through the rest of the night, I mean, I probably could find out online who they are through some sort of dirt sheet website or something. But and then we're gonna get into the meat of the SmackDown from last Thursday, and that is the IC Challenge Gauntlet match. There's no, I guess it's more like a bragging rights sort of thing. There's nothing up. There's no advantage. I mean, if they would have had some sort of advantage or something, then maybe this would have made more sense, gave it more purpose, but it wasn't. It was just, okay, let's just get all these guys in a gauntlet match. Winner gets bragging rights, basically. And it starts off with Dean Ambrose and Stardust gets the box, and what he's calling the Intercontinental Championship is the Ivory Enterprise. There you have it. Decent match. Ambrose wins with a roll-up. It was like a roll-up. What is it? Stardust sort of lays down, and he's about to sort of, I don't know, try to roll up Rollins, but he just basically sits on him, pulls his legs up, and pins him with his knees on his shoulders. So that's how he gets to win with that. Afterwards, Stardust attacks Ambrose viciously by ramming his shoulder into the ring post. He does it like maybe 3 times as R-Truth comes out for kind of the save, but he makes short work of Stardust. And then when he's gone, he's like, "You ready to wrestle? Ring the bell. You ready to wrestle? Come on. Are you okay, Ambrose?" And then when they ring the bell, Stardust comes back and attacks R-Truth. And with that distraction, I guess Stardust creates the distraction Dirty Deeds on R-Truth. So that match doesn't even get 5 seconds. Whatever. I ain't even going to go there. So after that, Harper comes out, and this becomes basically the battle of the wife beater and jeans. And this is such a great match, but something that I wanted to mention. Did you notice that they basically wear the same clothes? I think Harper's jeans are maybe a little bit lighter, but for the most part, they wear a gray tank top, wife beater, what have you, and blue jeans and black boots. They look like a tag team, honestly. Could you imagine Ambrose and Harper in that attire as a tag team? That shit would fucking rule. Both of them respectively. And I think Harper doesn't get enough credit, maybe from fans like I am, but he doesn't really get a lot of credit for his in-ring ability at his size. And anytime I'm going to talk about this guy, I'm going to put him over like fucking white bread, man. Like, this dude is awesome. And Ambrose is cool. The two of them have like a super epic battle that kind of takes up a lot of the gauntlet time. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Harper applies like 2 cross faces that were pretty snug. Oof. Like, you know, you take the cross face by Cena, you take the cross face by Daniel Bryan, and Harper's, because he's so big and he gets that shit on tight, it looks scary, man. But anyway, Harper wins with a spinning clothesline. I don't know what they're going to... I'm not sure what they call that, the spinning lariat. But anyway, he pops the shit out of Dean Ambrose after a really hard-fought fight. And then he gets him with the sitting power bomb, gets the pin. Then out comes Daniel Bryan. And then they go to break. They come back. And J&J ordering some more developmental guys dressed as security. But then they come back and the match is already in progress. You know, and they're starting it basically. Daniel Bryan has the upper hand. He's outside with Harper inside, sort of like legs in between the ring post, and he's whipping his leg maybe like 3-4 times over the ring post. So the direction of the match, and this is Daniel Bryan in his way of fighting. He focuses on a part of the body. And that part of the body is that leg. And the whole match is centered around that leg. He hits him with a sweet surfboard. And you have to take in consideration that Harper weighs about like 260, 275, maybe even more than that. And I've seen Daniel Bryan try to apply the surfboard on other guys a little bit smaller that he would have trouble getting up. Now, he gets him up. But it really is a struggle. It's almost like, imagine like someone trying to catch a whale or something, trying to reel in like a shark. That's what it was. And he rocks him, and it looks like he gets him up, but then he gets him up, and it just looks great. Not only does he get his ass up, he pumps him like 3 times. And that just goes to show the ability of Daniel Bryan. Now, I like Daniel Bryan. I like Daniel Bryan a lot. I'm not one of those guys, but I'm not one of those guys that's like, he should be wrestling Brock Lesnar. You know, you got to get over it. He's put in a good spot now, I think. And if he wins the belt at the ladder match at WrestleMania, then good for him. Again, another a fighting champion that looks like he will be next in line for the belt. I don't know. I digress. But Harper is selling the leg during the match. And there's this one spot, because I don't know if you remember watching the match between Harper and Daniel Bryan maybe 2 weeks ago. It was like this really, really scary match where Harper was just doing all sorts of work to Daniel Bryan's neck. So in this match, he hits him with that sort of, it's almost like a chicken wing belly to back, and he almost oversends it. And oh my God, Daniel Bryan lands on his neck. I swear to God, it could have been a compound fracture the way he landed so awkwardly on the neck. And they showed it again, and they showed it again in the replay. I'm just like, these guys, they're getting a hard on watching this. I don't want to see this. I didn't even want to see it in the first place, let alone it being showed in slow motion like 3 more fucking times. Jesus Christ. Harper and Bryan should not ever be fighting for shit like that. Maybe Harper just doesn't know his own strength or something. Anonymous Raw general manager. Or something. But it's scary as fuck to watch the two of them in there, especially knowing what Daniel Bryan went through with his neck surgery, and then he's getting dropped on his neck like that. Ugh, whatever, dude. But yeah, Bryan wins with he finishes him off with a leg lock, like crazy ass leg lock, where with the leg he's been working on the whole match, and Harper taps out. Out comes Dolph Ziggler. You have, and this is basically the final of the gauntlet match. So Bryan versus Ziggler. This match doesn't. It's amazing how the transition from Harper to Ziggler, from the idea of focusing on a body part, and then this was more or less like one-upsmanship. There was, no focus on any spot. It was just, all right, you do a move, I do a move. You do a move, I do a move. I think if I was to sort of say who had the better match, this is a great match, but it was more like a spot fest. The Ambrose Harper match was clearly the best on this thing. Harper Bryan wasn't bad, but the Ziggler Bryan is better than Harper Bryan. But yeah, it's just one-upsmanship and just spot after spot after spot after spot after spot after spot after spot, and Ziggler wins with the zigzag. Ziggler's celebrating, and I just go, man, he just fought fucking Harper. You can't be too happy. You're the last guy out. Obviously, you're going to win. You're the most rested. Oh, well. It was like getting number 30 at the Royal Rumble. I mean, you should be able to win. You're the last one. All right. But Daniel Bryan's in the corner, and he gets up. This Raw general manager is annoying the fuck out of me. All right. So they shake, and then Barrett comes out pissed off. And, it's funny because when you always see Barrett, he's almost like normally like smug, but he comes out and he's like pissed off. I wish he would be like that more often, like just yelling and screaming and ranting and raving, and but he's like, look at this, yeah, blah 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 blah, I got some bad news for you, and blah 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 blah. And he sucker punches Ziggler with the microphone, and then he attacks Daniel Bryan, but he's basically, no one gets any real offense on Barrett in this. So he sucker punches Ziggler, he pops Bryan with a bull hammer, he pops Ziggler with a bull hammer, and then he pops Daniel Bryan with another bull hammer. So I don't know, I like this aggressive Wade Barrett. He wouldn't be 1-9. If he was like this more often rather than just sort of a smug Englishman. I like him aggressive, because when he pops R-Truth like an asshole with the bull hammer, I'm just like, hell yeah, like this is the Wade Barrett that we've been needing for a while. Oh well, but that ends the gauntlet match. I wish there was something out of it, like maybe I don't know what kind of stipulation it could have been, but this gauntlet match, if you haven't seen it, if you don't watch SmackDown, at least watch this fucking gauntlet match. But I wish the gauntlet match had something up for grabs going into the match. Maybe whoever wins the gauntlet can face Wade Barrett Monday to see who goes in as the champion, because the ladder match, the belt is going to be in the air anyway. It doesn't matter who has the belt. So fuck it, have it up for grabs Monday night against the person that wins the gauntlet match. Monday should be Wade Barrett versus Dolph Ziggler to see who holds the belt last. before going into the ladder match at WrestleMania. I'm just saying. And here comes the joke of the evening. We got the 6 interspecies tag team match. Yeah, the fuck. El Torito with, Los Matadores with El Torito, and the Marksmen, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, with Natty. The interspecies being that, none of the dudes from Los Matadores can get into the ring while Natty's in the ring. She only faces El Torito. That's it. That's the match. They call it an interspecies match because El Torito is dressed as a bull. Okay. This is a pretty decent match. The story's been told with Natty and Kid. Kid doesn't really want her in the ring. The match itself is controlled by Los Matadores until the very end, when Torito is tagged in and Natty basically catches his punk ass in the air coming off the top rope, and she does a sitting power bomb on him and pins him, and that's the match. Basically, this is, maybe they're going to do this match again for Raw. I hope not. Oh God, Jay being hurt is really going to change some shit around. I wonder if the Usos are going to be at WrestleMania. I hope he ices up, get that shit straight. Ice up, son. But this tag team thing shouldn't even be happening at WrestleMania. This is a total waste of everyone's time, very much like this match on SmackDown. And that leads us to our main event of the evening, which is supposed to be Roman Reigns and Mark Henry versus Seth Rollins and Kane with J&J. This is what it's supposed to be, right? But apparently it becomes a 2-on-1. Reigns comes out, and then Henry music hits, but he doesn't come out. It just sits there, and everyone's waiting for him to come out. He never comes out. They shoot backstage. Apparently, he's laid out with a whole bunch of medical around him and referees. So apparently, he gets jumped in the back by the authorities, so he can't wrestle. Okay. So it becomes a 2-on-1 match. And as they're in the ring, J&J bring out, I think, like 4 developmental guys dressed as security dudes to watch the ramp to make sure that Randy Orton never shows up. This match is not about Reigns again. Just like last week, just like last 2 Mondays ago, he has this huge match. He's the Mania. He's the fucking Mania main event fighter against Brock Lesnar. And he's an enhancement for Reigns and Orton. It makes no sense. This makes no sense. Reigns wins. You know, it's pretty chaotic. Everyone's jumping in the way of between J&J and between like Kane interfering or Rollins interfering while Kane's in the ring. It just seems that Reigns can't catch a break, right? But he ends up winning with a spear to Kane. And as he's walking out, I mean, you know, whatever, wipe your heads off, go away, right? As he's walking out, he stands behind the security guys, and he just basically pushes them out of the way. Those guys have done nothing to Roman Reigns, and he's like pushing them out of the way like they did something to him. Like Dick Roman Reigns, basically. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Roman Reigns. Pushing people out of the way that have nothing to do with him. All right? So he walks out, and whatever. Orton music hits, but he's not coming out down the ramp. We all seen this before. So as they're freaking out and trying to figure out where he is, here comes Randy Orton from the back to get Rollins. And he gets a little offense on him, but not enough, because everyone kind of comes out to help him. The guys, the security guys, they come out, they get fucking RKO'd and fucked up. One RKO, they even get the double vintage Orton DDT with the leg on the ropes. RKO Noble. And then he gets Mercury off the top rope with the fucking RKO. And all of this was a distractions to basically have Rollins escape. And that's it. That's the end of SmackDown. Other than say that gauntlet match, or like tornado turmoil, or you could have called it that, I don't know. But like, other than that gauntlet match, this show was very lackluster. Last week was much more enjoyable. I don't mind. I mean, it's SmackDown. Can't expect much, but that gauntlet match was pretty badass. And I'll just end it with that. We have to see Monday how things move forward from SmackDown. Do we get any matches again? Does Mark Henry get his revenge? What more does Orton and Rollins need to do? I don't know what they do with the ladder match guys on Monday. We'll see. Next week is the SmackDown Go Home show. I doubt if they will even have a SmackDown, because I think last year or the years before, SmackDown becomes nothing more than a WrestleMania preview show. So maybe you hear from me next week. Maybe you won't for Peter Talks Smackdown. But yeah, it's WrestleMania. They're not doing a SmackDown. They're going to take care of all that shit for Raw. All of it. All of it. I only hope that The Undertaker at least shows his fucking face. Oh well. But yeah, thanks for listening. Again, PJTWCentral.com. PJTW Central. That's Twitter. L in Japanese. Also at Jake, JG Pro Wrestling. Also at Alexis. At Sailor Lexi. Go check out all last week's podcasts. Check out next week's podcast, which is going to be the Go Home WrestleMania prediction show with myself, Jake, Arthur, and Alexa. So it's going to be 4 of us in here. It's going to be the fatal 4-way of a fucking prediction show. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, repost, thumbs up. You have so many different ways to listen to this, whether SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, and you can your SoundCloud through your Tumblr account. So we need you to help us with this movement. So if you could do all those things, repost, share, comment, please comment. Shout out to all the people on YouTube. Shout out to all my Twitter homies. Yeah, so what do you say at the end of records? I don't know. Yeah, mashed potatoes, applesauce, buttery biscuits, and I get lost. Yes.